Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the first of our information webinars for round 3 of the Bank of Ireland Begin Together Arts Fund, which is in partnership with Business to Arts and is kindly supported by Arts and Business Northern Ireland. This is the first of 2 webinars this week. This one today is a general overview, a review of the criteria, and a run through of how to apply. The second webinar, which will be on Friday, also at 1 p.m., is going to be more specific surrounding questions on audience, budget, and evaluation. Just so you know, we are going to be recording this webinar. It'll be posted to our YouTube channel afterwards, so you can easily view it again. We've also just take a moment to introduce our panelists today. I am Sarah Murphy-Abamonte, Senior Manager of Memberships and Projects at Business to Arts. We also have Adam Bradley joining us from Arts and Business Northern Ireland, where he is the Arts Program Coordinator. And giving us on the back end all of our support is Mela Cahill from Business to Arts as well. She's our Membership and Project Manager. Feel free to use the Q&A function or the chat function to enter any questions during the presentation. We will answer as many as possible towards the end of the presentation. And Mela, if you would advance the slide for me, please. Great. So again, just a little bit of welcome and housekeeping. This webinar will be recorded and posted to the YouTube channel. Webinar format, if you're not familiar with it, attendees will not be shown. You'll be able to see the slides and the panelists. Questions are welcome. There'll be a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And just to run through the agenda for this afternoon, Business to Arts and Arts and Business Northern Ireland will give you a little overview of who we are and what we do. We'll do an overview of the Bank of Ireland Begin Together Arts Fund, run over the eligibility requirements and criteria, how to apply, and then again at the end, the Q&A session. All right, go ahead. Great, thanks, Mela. So at Business to Arts, our mission is to develop quality cultural experiences and world-class collaborations between the arts community and businesses here on the island of Ireland. Our corporate network has just under 100 members, and they're a national network of Irish and international companies, different sizes, different sectors, semi-state companies, government agencies, and corporate foundations. And you can see there are a couple of examples of different ways in which we work with those corporate clients through art commissioning, event programming, talking about corporate social responsibility and ESG, arts, festivals and music sponsorship, and different cultural strategy around philanthropy. Our cultural network of over 200 arts affiliates includes individual artists as well as national cultural institutions and runs the gamut across all art forms. And I'll hand it over to Adam to tell you a little bit about ABNI.
Yeah, Arts and Business in Northern Ireland is a membership organisation for both cultural and commercial businesses in Northern Ireland. Our work with arts organisations focuses around sustainability and value of the arts, and that comes in different ways. We galvanise creative partnerships between our arts organisations, our 124 arts members, and our 75 business members. We work with arts organisations on trusts and foundations and fundraising applications, and we work with organisations on governance. We have a year-round programme of training and events and robust governance services and fundraising support. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Adam. And I'm going to turn it over now to Mela to give us an overview of the Begin Together Arts Fund.
Hi all, thanks Sarah. So this is the third round of the Bank of Ireland Begin Together Arts Fund, and the fund has or will distribute a total of 1 million over the 3 years 2020, 2021 and 2022. So this fund is primarily designed to support artists and arts projects across the island of Ireland. So that is including the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. It is open to all art forms. The only criteria is that it benefits a range of audiences and it enhances the well-being of the communities that you're in. It aims to support artists or groups of artists that are working in collaboration with a partner organization, and we can go into a bit of detail later on about what constitutes a partner organization. So just to give you an idea of the timeline of the fund, So our application portal went live on the 5th of May. It's going to be closing on the 23rd of June at 5 p.m. and that is quite a hard deadline. So if you could get your applications in as early as possible, and if you have any questions or queries about your application process, please feel free to reach out to us. During the summer months, the Business to Arts team and the application panel will be reviewing all the applications, and all projects, whether successful or unsuccessful, will be notified by the 31st of August. During September, it's an administration month where we are looking for signing the documents. You will be required to sign an agreement and also provide a letter of commitment between the artist and the partner organization. And then for this third round of funding, projects will hopefully be kicking off in October and running through to December 2023. I'll now pass back over to Sarah to go through the grant amounts.
Thanks, Mela. Yeah, just a change for those of you that are familiar with round 1 and round 2 of the Arts Fund. So the grant amounts have changed just slightly. Applicants can request grants in the range of 5,000 to 15,000 euro for this round, or the sterling equivalent. The average grant will be a little bit higher than in rounds past. We're thinking that it'll be around 10,000 or sterling equivalent, with again the maximum of 15,000. And just to go over the eligibility criteria and requirements, again, pop those questions into the chat or the Q&A function as things come up that you're thinking of. But the fund will support new or existing artworks and art projects that enhance the well-being of their communities. And we don't have a set definition for community. We're allowing you to self-identify which community you are representing or working with. So applications that will be supported or will be considered are delivered by or involve professional artists, and we can go into a little bit about what that means in just a moment. They involve a partner organization, so a venue or event space, arts organization, community organization, or other agency. They should demonstrate audience or community engagement. This can be working with local schools to involve students in an art project or give a little education piece around the project. Have appropriate fees for the professional artists involved. Again, we'd like to see at least 40% of the budget for the project go towards artist fees. And aim to engage with an audience or participants. So we're not looking for internal projects. We really want something that's going to come to fruition, go out into the public, and have a life of its own and engage with those communities. And again, as Mela said, the projects that are being considered will take place between October 2022 of this year and December 2023 next year.
So with the last round of the fund, a lot of the focus was on responses and adaptations in light of COVID-19. The new criteria for phase 3 of the fund is projects that enhance the well-being of communities. So some examples of projects that we've seen before, both inside and outside of this fund, that would work with communities in this way would be projects that animate places of community value, like community spaces or community centres with arts and culture, intergenerational projects that bring people of all ages together, workshops with communities to enhance their access and participation in the arts and or helps them to learn a new skill, educational arts projects with children and young people, and projects that help to nurture and develop artistic talent within the disadvantaged or minority community.
And we'll go through a few examples of projects that have been funded through rounds 1 and 2. This first one is with the Little Museum of Dublin. So as many of you may know, in 2020, Eileen Flynn became an Irish senator, the first person from the traveller community to become a member of the Oireachtas. So this photo here, you can see a mural which is inside the Little Museum of Dublin by artist Fiona MacDonald, and it just kind of documents in a very graphical, almost map-like way the milestones of Eileen's life. It's very much an inspirational piece, and as we sometimes talk about with art and representation, children especially don't know that they can be something if they don't see anyone that looks like them in that role, in that position, in that organization. So this is very much working towards that end goal. There's also an accompanying online exhibition, and there's an outreach program that's meeting people in their local communities and online. So obviously with COVID-19, everything was locked down. People were not going anywhere. So the Little Museum staff really wants to get out and let people know the message that the museum is open. It's there for you to visit, but also understanding that that takes a rebuilding of trust. And for some people, they may not regularly engage with arts organizations or museums. So kind of giving them a little bit of background on what to expect out of a first museum visit and how to overcome some of the barriers to accessibility and visiting, including financial barriers, physical barriers, that type of thing. The idea behind the outreach program is that that then cultivates a group of community ambassadors that will then go out and spread the news of this exhibit of the Little Museum and become, a huge source of word of mouth for getting people to come visit the museum. And along with that, children from DIS schools will be taking part in school visits and will receive a free ticket to return with their families. So really, we're seeing a very multifaceted project here where it has the artistic project, it has the engagement, and it's also bringing folks in from a community that may not have ready access to the museum or think that it's a place for them.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'll talk to you about another second project that was a really good example of engaging communities and contributing to the well-being and enhancing the communities of this project. So the Singsong Project improves physical and psychological health for communities with COPD, chronic respiratory disease, asthma, lung cancer, and especially long COVID in Limerick, Tipperary, and Clare. So musician Ciara Mead and working with her partner organization, COPD-SI, they work together to provide group-based breathing and singing interventions, as well as educational sessions and informal breakout rooms to improve members' respiratory health and address loneliness, anxiety, and isolation. And this project is a really good example of how we are really looking for all art forms to apply to this fund, not just maybe the more traditional visual arts. There's really no discrimination in which art form you choose to apply with. This project was really fantastic, like a cost-effective singing and breathing program based on physiological principles to optimize lung function and endurance. And it was delivered in a really socially inclusive and enjoyable environment, and really focused on the holistic health and well-being of the participants and the community that it was based in. So now I'm going to pass to Adam, who's going to chat to us about Takeaway Theatre.
Takeaway Theatre was an interactive performance that happens at home for disabled people and their families, originally piloted in 2020 and expanded through the Begin Together Arts Fund. So disabled people were among the worst affected by the pandemic. So the project was established to create engagement, empowerment, and fun for the participants at a difficult time. The project was led by Maeve Ivers, an artist and arts therapist, who led in consultation with the families taking part, and Paul Taylor, a performance and circus facilitator. The partner on the project were the Fantastic Open Arts, who run a range of artistic activity within their core program for people with disabilities to engage in, with 80 people a week benefiting from their programs. The program engaged and empowered recipients and their families to co-create a drama based on a new story of their making, enabling them to enjoy a shared experience. And through the creative storytelling and interaction with performers, it built confidence for people with disabilities, potentially serving as a stepping stone to greater arts attendance or participation.
Adam. So I will just give you an idea of how to apply, what our online application process looks like. So our application process is completely online. However, you can download the application questions via a PDF on our website, on the Business to Arts website. And this can help you just plan your answers, plan for what the platform is going to ask you to do. So in the process of logging in, if you've ever dealt with applying to our awards, it's the same platform that we use for our awards as well. So if you have previously registered with the system for that awards, it's going to already save your details. So if you just log in, if you've forgotten your password, just click forgot password and it will send you a new link. That's no problem at all. If you're a complete new registrant, then you will receive a verification email, and just make sure that you click the link in your verification email, because otherwise you can't do anything until you do that. So once you have logged in and you're ready to start your application, you just need to click the big button that says Start Application, and it will automatically bring you to the Bank of Ireland Begin Together Arts Fund section, and it will prompt you to specify the region that your project primarily takes place in and the county that your project primarily takes place in. And there's no specific reason why we're asking for the county. It's just to give us an idea of the geographical spread of the projects, essentially. So one important thing to note is that every time you have finished a section on our platform, please hit Save and Next. And this just ensures that any changes or answers that you filled in are saved in the system, and then you can return to it many times and you can continue to work on your application up until the deadline of 23rd of June. And very key, please make sure once you've completed your application that you do hit the submit button, the submit entry button, before 5 p.m. on Thursday, 23rd of June, because unfortunately, even if your application has been fully completed, but you have not clicked the submit button, it will not be eligible right until the end. And that would be great. Perfect. So Sarah.
Great. Thank you so much, Mela, for that overview. Again, we are going to go ahead and start the question and answer session. So just pop your questions either down below in the Q&A button or the chat function, and we will get started on those questions. Mela will be facilitating those for us.
Okay, perfect. So we have our first question here. If you received Begin Together funding for a project in 2021, can you apply for an expansion of this project in 2022, i.e. the same project again, but scaled up? Sarah, would you be able to take that one?
Sure. I get, sorry, that question came from Deirdre. Let me get back to you on that. There may be an opportunity there. It definitely fits within the criteria, but we just want to make sure that all the partners involved would be on board with that. So I can definitely take down your name and get back to you.
Perfect. So Imogen Kavanagh has asked, how are you defining well-being? I would say well-being is quite an umbrella term, and we would be covering maybe the psychological well-being, the community, the well-being of the community, health and wellness, also the maybe the richness of the community as well that you're working in. I think that would be a very umbrella term, and it would be absolutely up to you to justify the criteria of your project within the application to show that it is under some form of well-being, whatever that may be. Okay, our third question is, can we use this fund to build upon an existing project? And a really simple answer to that is yes. This fund is designed to support either a new or an existing project. Our next question is, does this have to be a standalone project or part of a bigger program? And I would say it can be either. It can be a standalone project or a part of a bigger program. I think that's no problem. If you are a project and you have funding from other multiple sources and you want to only part fund it using the Bank of Ireland Begin Together Arts Fund, that's also perfectly acceptable and eligible to apply.
I would add to that, with the last rounds of the fund, what we would need to say in the application is that the money that you're applying for from Business to Arts and Begin Together, the correct proportion of that goes to paying artists in the project.
Absolutely. Very good point, Adam. Okay, a very similar question here. Can prior organizations who applied for round 2 and were unsuccessful apply for round 3? Yes, absolutely. Please do apply for round 3. You mentioned taking the project out into the community. Can we bring the community onto our premises? Adam, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, I think this comes back to what Sarah and Mela said before about the term community being quite loose, and you defining what that community is, whether it's a community of a disadvantaged community, or local community, a community of artists, a community of interest. I think it's up to you to kind of decide how and where and when you're going to create that impact. So simple answer is yes.
Perfect. Okay, this is an interesting one. To what extent does the project have to engage an audience? For example, could an exhibition simply be displayed, or must it be interactive to engage an audience? Would either of you guys like to take that?
I can speak to that. So, you know, as far as people through the door or hard metrics like that, you know, we're definitely not going to discriminate based on those type of numbers, but you know, it would be, we would want to see some sort of activation. So, for example, if it's visual art, you know, just putting up a mural, we would want to see something, an activity surrounding that, an outreach to a school or a community group, that type of thing. So it would be the project plus the activation that we're looking to see.
But then obviously if it's a project like Takeaway Theatre that we just talked about, that's actually to do with the participants, you know, if it's workshops or it's an education program with young people, it might not necessarily be as much about the audience as about the workshops and the participants themselves. So I guess it's up to you to really talk about who the impact is going to be on.
Another question coming through, apologies, this came through on the Q&A and in the chat as well. Can individuals submit an application, or does it need to be an arts or community entity? So you cannot submit an entry as an individual artist. You must be linked with another partner organization, whether that is an arts organization, community organization, local authority body, university, library, some partner organization. And the purpose of that is really to embed the arts project in the community and build those collaborative links that are what really enhances the well-being of the community. You can submit an application as an individual artist with your partner organization. Like, you can be the one to submit the application, but you must have a partner organization. And yes, the Q&A will be on YouTube as well. Okay, I think we've answered this one. If the project needs additional funding, can other funding or grants or additional sponsors? Yes, that's absolutely fine. Okay, do we have any others that I have missed there? Can arts organizations apply in collaboration with an artist or artists, or does the artist have to apply? The arts organization, yes, can be the one to apply. Just have like a lead contact from the arts organization to make the application. Adam, there's one here addressed to you. Can you see the chat?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
No, take time.
Yeah, Cara, definitely have a chat to me. We can have a wee think about that ahead and see if there's anyone who would meet with your aims.
Sarah, do you want to take that professional artist question? What is your definition of a professional artist?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a definition that we've used throughout the previous rounds, and it is included in the frequently asked questions and other supporting material on our website, but I'll just read through it real quick. And if there are any specific questions after I've read through this, we can take those as well. So a professional artist is defined as an artist who has specialized training in the artistic field. This is not exclusive to academic institutions. Is recognized as professional by their peers, which means artists working in the same artistic tradition, is committed to devoting more time to artistic activity if possible financially, and may have a history of public presentation or publication.
Okay, I can see a couple here that are really quick answers. So can the partner organization be a non-profit organization / a charity? Yes, that is no problem at all. How do you define small, large arts organizations? Emer, I think if you have an organization in mind with like a specific capacity, that question might be best directed directly to the email address. So you can email Begin Together Arts Fund at business2arts.ie, and we can answer that question for you there. Another one that just came in is, can an arts organization apply for more than one project? So that's a bit of a tricky one. So generally for the partner organization, we would prefer to see only one application from each partner organization. However, if you are the arts organization with the artist in the arts organization, the artist can apply individually with one application, and then also as part of the collective or the arts organization as a second application, and that's okay. Okay. We are a CLG nonprofit organization. If we were to get a local artist to collab with our local transition year students on a project, would that be okay? Yes, I think that would be perfect. That is a nonprofit organization partnering with an artist and also engaging with the community. So that is perfect. That is exactly what we want to see. Okay. If a project needs additional funding, can other funding grants or additional sponsors? Yeah, that one's already been done. Perfect. Presuming the projects require tax clearance certificates from all entities involved in applications as with Arts Council grants. Sarah, I think that is something that you might need to email us about, and we will check in further. I think that's quite a larger question. Okay. Is there any additional ones there? I'll give people a few moments. Okay, I think if that's all the questions, Sarah, we might wrap it up. But please feel free to send any additional questions into the email address.
We actually just had one come in here from Donna Carroll. How many projects do you anticipate being able to fund? Mela, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was slightly over 30 that were funded in both round 1 and round 2. So I would assume a similar number would be this round.
Yes, it might be slightly less this round just because the grant amounts are a bit higher, but yeah, around the 30 mark.
Great, thank you. And can a school be the partner organization and also engaged in activities?
Can a school be the partner organization and also engaged in activities? The school can absolutely be the partner organization and also engaged in activities. Do you mean that the school would be the community that would benefit from that? If so, that's absolutely fine. So the school would be the partner organization, and then they would bring in a separate, okay, perfect. And then they would bring in a separate artist to benefit that community of the school. Yes, that's absolutely fine. How many applications do you usually get for previous rounds? That's a great question. I'm not sure that I know the answer to that, but it's quite a lot.
I think it was around late 70s to early 80s for round 1. I can't remember about round 2. I think it was similar.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And just Sarah Owens, is there a lean towards any particular area in the arts? So I just want to emphasize that we do not have a specific bent or lean towards a particular area. This is really an all arts funding opportunity. And we would love to see things come in from the design and crafts world, from visual art, from theater, from dance, from music. Just we're really interested in seeing what's going on in your particular art medium. Okay, so I think we've answered all the questions that we have for today. Again, the email address is in the chat. It's also on our website if you have any questions after the webinar, and we will be putting this up on our YouTube channel shortly, so feel free to play back. Again, I'm Sarah. I'm the Senior Manager for Membership and Projects here at Business to Arts. I want to thank my colleagues Adam and Mela and all of you for joining us today. So have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all. Take care.